Welcome to Sunburnt Soul podcast. My name is Sarah. For season 1, I want to talk about when Chiron speaks. This title of this episode will be When Chiron Speaks, the Wounded Healer's Journey Begins. The reason why I started this podcast is because I wanted to focus on my favorite things, which are humor, astrology, and mental health. When you think about it and you encompass all three of those things, those are all modalities of just trying to heal, and be better. So hence my fascination with Chiron. In fact, this YouTube channel used to be called Sophomore Astrology. And I had started a Chiron series, but I ended with Scorpio. And it never felt right that I just ended it on that sign. I wanted to finish the whole series. So that's why I figured that I would just reopen it, but talk about it in podcast form. So at least I could kind of not feel rushed and feel like I have to press everything into like a 20-minute, 10-minute video versus like just letting myself kind of like flow and speak through the energies. So to kind of like dive into it further, what is Chiron? Now, first, I kind of want to talk about what it is in Greek mythology. Chiron was a centaur, part human, part horse. He was wounded by a poison arrow shot by Hercules. Even though he was known for his healing abilities and his knowledge in medicine, he was unable to heal himself, and the pain that he had felt was so great that he gave up his immortality to end his suffering. Now, when you're talking about Chiron, when it comes to astrology, it's a person's deepest wounds. It's also their potential for healing. I was just even mentioning this earlier today that pain is the greatest healer. For example, if you try to lift something and you don't have the proper form and you hurt yourself, best believe that probably the next time you try to lift something, you're going to look up how to do the perfect form, figure it out, or you're just never going to lift anything that heavy again. So pain is definitely sometimes one of the best teachers out there. So to tie it into mental health and why I feel like Chiron is a good way of kind of knowing what your Chiron placements are in your astrology chart, how it helps to improve your mental health. Because if you know that if you know where Chiron is if you know what Chiron is if your Chiron is in a specific house and what sign and house it is in, then you can kind of pinpoint to be like, oh, you know what? I can kind of understand, like, this is something that is very deep within me. This makes me feel extremely human in the fact that I feel very flawed. And the pain is very real. And honestly, me myself, when I was looking into the Chiron in my own chart, I couldn't even like read it without feeling like a weight on my chest, because the pain runs so deep. And it's like a signature. It's like a soul signature of pain that's within you. And even when I was reading my own, because I'm a Gemini rising, Leo is in my 3rd house, and my Chiron is in Leo. Chiron is in the 3rd house. So Leo is about being brilliant, being bold, being prideful. And then the 3rd house is about communication, local distances, siblings. And when I was reading and trying to understand my own soul wound with that, like, it makes sense that why I was so scared to create this podcast, because from as long as I could remember, there's always been like an energy that has been trying to, either from people or just coming from my own sense of lack, is the best way of saying, is that I felt like even if I knew what I was saying was intelligent, fair, correct, politically correct, or well thought out, there was still some kind of hesitation with what I was trying to communicate or say to someone else. You know, either I've been silenced, either when I was having a good time or I was expressing myself, I was just being fun or light, and I've been told that that's inappropriate. Stop doing that. That's not okay. There's like a lot of shame with me wanting to kind of be childlike and wanting to express myself and to do it boldly and to do it with pride. It's almost as if I've been shamed to speak my truth with pride. And I feel like in my life, like as I'm starting to get older, I feel like the best way to learn from that is to kind of put yourself in situations that allow you to, I guess the best way to say that is like, how do I say this? I'm really trying to think how to put this to words. Let me just start by saying, like, to put yourself out there, to do what scares you. That's what I was trying to say. In order to overcome this deep wound, it's almost as if you have to do the things that scare you. So for instance, like for me, with Leo in my third house, and that's where Chiron resides, the best thing for me to do is public speaking, is to get in front of people, in whatever way that might be, you know, to get in front of people and to express myself. Because the more I get practice with it, the more I get used to it, and it becomes less scary over time. And the thing is that even if I go in front of people, I still might stutter. I might say the wrong thing. I might offend someone, you know, and that fear and that possibility of doing those things is never going to go away, right? But the point is that I need to get that practice out and work through that energy. And with being more comfortable with what makes me uncomfortable, that will allow me to heal that wound, you know? And I think the thing is that, like, healing is not a linear thing. It might not even be an exponential thing where it's just like, you know, you just take off to the moon and all of a sudden I'm the best public speaker ever, you know? That's not the goal. It's not even to just like every day do a little bit more public speaking. That's not the goal either. What it is that I kind of think of Chiron as like, imagine like Chiron, the actual like centaur, you know? He had a poison arrow shot through, I believe, I'm not exactly sure where, but imagine if it was his leg or his ankle, and forever he just had a limp, you know, a painful limp. And I think kind of the best way to kind of think of how to really accept and move and heal from his wound was possibly like, he wasn't going to be able to replace his ankle, right? He couldn't get rid of the limp. In theory, you can't get rid of the limp. But how do you walk with a limp, you know? Is there a way you can move? Maybe add some swag to it? Maybe you need to start walking with the pimp walk, you know? Like, maybe there's something that you need to do in order to kind of, like, let yourself be able to move and be and exist and be seen with your wound, even if it might be obvious that you were hurt at one point or not. Like, I feel like there is a level of alchemizing your energy if you're able to kind of accept your flaws, accept that you're human, and not only live with it, but adapt to it, you know? Not walk around it, not hide it, not put it away for other people to not see, not stuff it, but more so to incorporate it with how you live and how you're seen by others. And even with doing that, the hope is that you will inspire others to also do the same as well. You know, so that's what I hope to expect for this podcast, is to really talk about Chiron in full depth, and to give those who have Chiron in Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, the last like 4 signs that I didn't do, to kind of give those people who were probably seeking that video within this podcast. So yeah, my hope is with this podcast is talk about boundaries, family dynamics, shadow work, self-worth. Definitely Chiron is the first step to talking about shadow work in particular. So, yeah, I just wanted to start this and talk about Chiron, just to kind of let other people who might be in pain, who might feel something very deeply but not be able to put words to it, to kind of let you know that you're not alone. So with that being said, like, share, subscribe. I have a TikTok. I will post that link. And also too, like, episode 2, I hope that comes out soon, hopefully next week. And in that, I will focus on the ache of abandonment, and explore how abandonment affects us emotionally, physically, spiritually, and how it is a common Chiron wound. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.